Israel. This country is so intriguing. I mean, just to think of its many names. The Holy Land, the Promised Land, the country of Zion, the aggressor country, the land of milk and honey. Call it what you like, but I think we can all agree this place is a wonderland. Perhaps the key to its secret is that it exists beyond space and time. Let's talk about space first. Come to think about it, this country is tiny. You know, it's so hard to grasp how it's even able to fit everything in this wee bit of land. Looking through the other side of the looking glass, well, it doesn't surprise you because once you bite into this multi-layered pie filled with historical, climate, ethnical, and religious ingredients all mixed in, anything you can think of can be found right here. Right this very minute, while skiers carve the snow down Mount Hermon, in a lot, sunbathing and swimming with the dolphins is season special. While Jerusalem is covered in snow, a mere couple dozen miles away, the heat is almost unbearable by the Dead Sea. You name it, it's here. Except the borders, of course. Nobody recognizes them. The never-ending dispute with the Syrians over the Golan Heights doesn't help much in setting the borders in the north. Well, let's take a look at the south. Come on, this is a joke, not borders. Stretch your arm from here, and it's in Egypt. Alright, let's try east. Maybe better luck there. Nope, the shores of the Jordan River are like children in a divorce, with Jordan and Israel fighting over custody. The Mediterranean Sea bounds Israel in the west. Want to try set a border there? Since the beginning of time, this country was struggling to define its borders. It's like, here's the country, but where's the borders? No good, right? Now, how do you define a space dimension without a border? Exactly. And the time concept? I don't even want to get into that. It's sort of like this country is beyond time. Where do you even put the reference point? Here's a tooth they found not so long ago. Guess how old it is? Can you imagine it's believed to be 400,000 years old? What other evidence do you need to prove that humanity began its history on this land? Any book ever written on the subject says that the first human, Adam, appeared here. Being a Jew, he marks the first Jewish presence right here. This time, or the creation of the world according to the Jews, marks the beginning of the year 5771. Since then, they come and go and come and go and come back again with no end in sight. Anywhere you put your foot down around here, you're bound to find traces of some Jewish king or a prophet. More than 2,000 years ago, Jesus Christ lived and preached on this very soil, which makes it 2011 for all the Christians. In the 7th century, the Muslims arrived, following Muhammad, who prayed in the vicinity along other prophet. So the Muslim Arabs, who make a good quarter of Israelis, today live in 1432. In 1948, Jews from 70 countries attained the restitution of their country, the State of Israel. Then they were once again able to gather in the Promised Land. So the historic birthday of the state is 1948, which makes it a bit over 60 years old. Still has a while to go till retirement though. With this in mind, think about this. Every group of residents here have their own reference point in the timeline. Every group celebrates a different New Year's, and every New Year's is celebrated on a different date. The one thing they all know for sure is that a celebration of a certain event actually begins the night before. With all this confusion about where they are in the timeline, well, that only creates more confusion. What we have here is pure Middle Ages. These are the Hasids, also known as Orthodox Jews. They seem to have been frozen in the 16th century and have never came out. They live by the Torah, the Bible, and strictly follow its canons. Part of the Arabic population is also stuck in the Middle Ages, and there are more than 1 million of them here. Not to mention, Arabic is the official second state language in Israel. Arabs themselves are a curious matter. The majority of them came here not so long ago. However, a fifth of them did have roots in this land since ancient times, and they claim to be the real Jews, having converted to Islam at some point. Israeli Arabs seem to be in a constant battle, and yet they do live far better than many Arabs elsewhere. But I guess that's how it is in a democracy. Everybody's struggling for a better way of life. There are some places where people seem to be stuck in the 19th century. Take a look over here. Doesn't it look just like some country farmhouse somewhere in Poland? Bedouins, for instance, still keep it Moses style, with all the appropriate attributes, tents, camels, goats, all included. This lifestyle is actually now accessorized by a Mercedes parked around a tent and a cell phone in hand. But that's just a side effect of living in the modern world. Take 2 steps away and you're in the future. The Weizmann Institute is here. The science in general is so far advanced here. Nanotechnology, newest top-notch computers. Nobody in the world has them, and yet here, they somehow keep popping up. Just think about it. They're already using them. By the way, per capita, this country has the largest amount in the world of scientists, various award winners, research papers, and registered patents. You know, the majority of these capitas lead a pretty comfortable and pleasant life. You know, just a daily routine, going to work, going back home, strikes, protests, wars. Jews of all colors can be found here, each one with their own language, culture, cuisines, lifestyle. Apparently the only thing in common they have is that they're all Jews. European Jews, the so-called Ashkenazi, are the ones we're used to seeing a lot in Europe, and the ones we know as Jews. You also find that there are Moroccan Jews, and Iranian, Muslims from any Muslim country, and even Afro-Israelis from Ethiopia. But even within one group, let's say Ashkenazi, there are even more subdivisions. Some are from Poland, some are from Sweden, others from Germany, Belgium, Russia. I can keep going. Did you know, by the way, that there are more ethnic Russians here than there are Jews in Russia? About 350,000 people, enough to populate a city. While in the whole of Russia, there are mere 250,000 Jews.
Каждый из нас еще не раз приедет сюда, на эту святую землю, чтобы искупаться в наших аплодисментах, получить от нас цветы, которые родились здесь, на этой земле Израиля.
Spanish Jews, Sephardi, managed to preserve their old Spanish language called Ladino, which is not spoken in Spain anymore.
Adiós, querida, no quiero la vida, me la amargaste tú. Adiós.
Speaking of language, this was quite a linguistic miracle on its own. You know, just imagine that Italy decides out of the blue to resurrect Latin. For a long time, Hebrew was a dead language too. But Israel decided to resurrect it and make it an official language of the state. It even has its own slang now. You can meet all sorts of people here. Take a look at this girl. Where do you think she's from? Africa? Maybe the US? Oh, I see. All your ancestors are from the area. So you are 100th generation Jew? That makes her Afro-Israeli. Okay, how about that blonde, Scandinavian-looking guy? Arab Jew from Morocco? Go figure. Way to get confused. Don't forget about the Druze and the Sunni or Armenians in the old town of Jerusalem. A lot of migrant workers from Thailand. Did we leave anyone out? Oh yeah, how about the Chukchi? Don't worry, plenty of them here. Also there are Chinese, Ethiopians. Many African American immigrants firmly believe that they are Jews and that all the apostles were black, not to mention Jesus Christ himself. Around 40,000 of these immigrants have arrived from Africa, and they still keep coming. Curious, isn't it? What you may not hear in the media is that over 40,000 Muslims actually immigrated here after 48. You know how they say some